Good afternoon, everybody. Our final stop in round 3. The northeast weather once again treating us not quite to the extent of last Friday night and the hoolie that was blowing in, but something to factor in for the sides today. Both these two without a Premiership win in this campaign. So we're going to have a look at the two sides, and the Falcons have had a variety of sizzling wingers up here over the years. Inga Tungamala, Nicky Gonova, Sinotti, Mateo Carreras, to name a few. Clearly with a seat in the Newcastle firmament, Adam Radwan, scorer of a jaw-dropping try in the Gale Force Storm last week and celebrating his 100th club appearance today. Ewan Stevens has some of that dazzling Radwan speed and footwork as well. He's on the other wing. No change to the halfbacks or the midfield. And the Welshman Sam Cross is drafted on the blind side this week. 4 changes for the Saints, perhaps the most significant of which, George Furbank's return from injury. He leads the side from fullback in a reshaped back 3. James Ram and Tommy Freeman have been ruled out with injury, so George Hendy switches to the left wing. Tom Seabrook is on the right. Fraser Dingwall missed last week, he's back, and the half-backs remain the same. Up front, there's an unchanged front row. Chunya Munga wins a first Premiership start for his new club at lock, and still without Joano Augustus, I should say. Sam Graham lining up at number 8 again. Tom Pearson continuing to impress on the open side. So to the head-to-heads, Ryan, plenty to get your teeth into here.
Yeah, having a look at the two hookers here, Jamie Blameyer, this man knows his way to the try line, certainly. He scored 6 tries in his last 12 Premiership games, and obviously going up against Curtis Langdon. 13 appearances for Montpellier last year. It's going to be a good match up there in the hookers.
Skaz?
And for the backs, it may not be the day for running ball-in-hand rugby, but 2 players that can light up either back line. Adam Radwan can score from seemingly the impossible, as we saw last weekend, and today on his 100th appearance for the club. And on the other side, Tom Seabrook, 6 tries in 6 games for him, really settling into his free-flowing Saints back line.
Yeah, let's hope those two see a little bit of ball in these testing northeast conditions as we get a peep inside the Saints dressing room, and there the Falcons coming to terms with new management, never easy. The transition to new faces, new systems, new ways of doing things, far from simple, of course. And Northampton led out today by George Furbank, his first outing of the new campaign. Last season, the semi-finalists, remember, yet to really find themselves in this new campaign. Dogged up at Sale, but edged out. High quality for half an hour at home to Bristol last week, but undone in the second half. They can justifiably point to a pretty unfortunate injury list at the moment, so early in the season, and they're missing World Cup stars too, but I think there's a feeling they really have to kickstart their campaign here today. So men like Curtis Langdon and Tom James are going to have to dig in and try and find something up here. We know the challenges of playing at Kingston Park. Invariably the elements are a factor, and the cussed nature of the opposition, of course. A little bit of a breeze, but actually that's not so much of a factor. It is simply wet, wet, wet. And so to the celebration of one of Newcastle's favourite sons, Adam Radwan. 100 up today. A dazzling talent, thrilling to watch, and someone upon whom Alex Codling's hopes are resting. Lots of talent up here in the northeast run. They've always had an amazing catchment area, the ability to call on a wide selection of clubs that all feed in to the Gloucester as we get started with Newcastle in their black strip.
Small.
And the ball taken in by Alex Coles.
Backwards, okay, it's gone backwards.
And Sam Graham laying it back.
Backwards, backwards.
First little punch from Trevor Davison, the former Newcastle Falcon tight head. And Tom James doing an important job in the absence of Alex Mitchell, who will return before too long from the World Cup. Obati Yinbo fails to hold on to that to start with, but the tidying is good from Sam Stewart.
They'll look at it if he finds it. Be onside.
Stewart preferred to Hugh O'Sullivan this afternoon, man who started the first two of the Premiership season.
Release! Ball's there.
You feel like with this weather, this is going to be
Timing.
them feeling each other out, seeing where they can go with these box kicks. Like you said, the wind's not too bad out there, but the rain's coming down pretty heavy now.
Yeah, this will be a familiar pattern you'd expect in the middle third, certainly. Obati Yinbo under this one. They've had Ben Redshaw wearing 15 for the last couple of weeks. Youngster has come through the academy, very highly rated. And just given him a breather this week. Hence Obati Yinbo in that full-back position. The ball has been lost forward here by Newcastle, and a big net gain for Northampton. I think, Emily, needless to say, we're going to have to get used to the relentless box kicking in the middle part of the field. Everybody waiting for those errors in these conditions.
Exactly that. I think it's, settle in for that all game long, but that's exactly what both teams are after. Make a team play just in that middle third, put a big defensive effort in, big defensive shot, get the ball back in a far more favourable area of the position.
A little bit of a secondary squeeze coming on there from Northampton, from Newcastle, I should say, but the ball safely away. Stevens underneath it. Here's Obati Yinbo. Tries to straighten, but Dingwall having none of that. Cross. Former Olympic Sevens players. Won a silver medal in Rio. Tester for Furbank. Has to deal with Van der Vaart straight up.
Get out! One, get out!
Waller.
No. Be here. Okay, let's look to use it.
That hasn't got any distance on it. Literally anyone's.
4 in front, inside 10.
The referee's watching that very, very carefully these days.
Yeah, Obati Yinbo wasn't going to have to deal with that one. Didn't really go anywhere, did it? He's been put under a bit of pressure on the high balls. He had not a great take in the first one, but he's done pretty well other than that, and you just feel like it's going to be an even of that. The wingers and the 15s having to take a lot of high balls. And you see here Newcastle finally giving up and thinking, no, we'll take the 3 points. Something Sale should have probably done.
Yeah, you're asking a lot from your nines on days like today, and they need to be on the money because it's almost impossible for forwards to scatter out of that 10-metre zone in order to get out of the way. It's a really soft and easy penalty.
So Conan,
Yeah, it's good those last couple.
begun well from the tee, had a very good season on the place kicking front in the last campaign, operating at 82%.
Thank you.
And there are the opening points of the afternoon. Brett Conan for Newcastle, and they lead by 3 points to 0.
Newcastle Falcons, score number 10 is Brett Conan.
He is seriously chucking it down out there now. It's only getting worse. I'm glad we're up here, I'll be honest. These are days like this, or evenings like this, you realise,
This is gentle. Nice. This is gentle for Kingston Park. Scrum penalty to Northampton. Apparently last Friday night, halfway up the stands, it seemed like the rain was actually driving its way up the seating. Such was the impact of the wind as well. They're going to have a crack at the posts.
Yeah, I think we're lucky it's not windy as well out there, is it? It's just very, very wet. Have a look at this one, straight down to his knee.
A little bit more, please.
Here on the open side. And an easy one again for the ref to give, an easy get out.
We're all experts on scrums going to knees now, aren't we?
Oh yeah, it's made it a lot easier for us. Spot a knee on the floor, you know what's going on. But yeah, again, Brocklebank just drops his knee there, and the ref, easy decision for him to make. And I'm guessing this will be 3-all, unless the commentator's curse kicks in.
Level on the scoreboard. 3 points each. Connon for Newcastle, Smith for Northampton, and the scrum penalty providing those points for the Northampton Saints. One there for the former Falcon, Trevor Davison. Originally spotted in the Bladen third 15 by Mickey Ward back in the day, so he has a lot to thank Mickey Ward for, the scrum coach here at Newcastle.
He also used to be a beer delivery man. How good is that? What a job.
I just wonder if that's an early shove. No, it's an infringement again from Ethan Waller, who feels the world is against him. There's Mickey Ward, who will be happy with that decision.
It's exactly the result they wanted, wasn't it, from the free kick initially, choosing to scrum again. They felt they had the ascendancy, they felt they could get something out of it, and when 3 points are going to be so crucial and critical in games like today, give yourself an opportunity.
Pass the message on, we need that stability. We're not going to carry on with scrums like that.
Yeah, we're looking going there. What's he saying? He's saying he's going in.
We need to get the ball in. Well.
He completely disagrees with it, but I think most props do when they get a penalty against them.
Yeah, it's very rare they turn around and suggest it's a fair cop.
It's like nodding dogs, but just the wrong way. Sander Fagerston's one of the worst for it. Just the old shake of the head all the time. Never his fault. It's never their fault.
So here's Brett Connon again.
Thank you.
Another beautifully clean strike. And Newcastle edge their way in front. 2 penalties from the Falcons fly half. Despite the drenching, happy fans for the moment.
Yep, you there? Yep.
Kalanchik driven to the ground.
It's your man keeping it in. Yep.
And you can see the Northampton backs just anticipating this one. George Hendy
Yeah, stay on side.
calling Furbank over. They know what's coming.
Stay. Just make sure you have a pause, please, before you chase.
Furbank, eyes up and quickly away to Seabrook, and here's Finn Smith.
Thank you.
Trying to make life awkward for Abatu Yinbo. It's gone through his legs. Good recovery, though, from the Falcons fullback.
Be here. It's 2 bent tacklers. If he has a look, it's a bent tackler.
Yeah, testing them with the ball on the floor as well, Emily. It's not a bad option, is it, to drive one through and put it on the deck? It's hard to pick those up.
Yeah, really tough to pick up. Arguably harder than balls out of the sky at the moment. Again, it's just a bit of variety.
And Radwan just getting a little bit overexcited as he lifted George Furbank. I think 1 or 2 Saints players just wondering whether he was trying to dump tackle him. The penalty awarded anyway.
The 2 bent tacklers, and you're
And
low.
with a couple of minutes to play in this first half, Northampton set up camp in Newcastle territory. Yeah, you've got to be so careful with that single leg lift and any kind of lift, really.
He knew straight away, didn't he? As soon as he'd done it, he was straight off the body.
Nice line-out ball secured by Coles. And this is Dingwall wrestling through Pepper. and Connon. He's made it to the 22-metre line. Great job, Tom James. Trying to get it away. And Falcons infringing, so opportunity of points here.
What's he done there for? Is he saying a high tackle? Is he saying he's gone? I know he's gone for the choke and he's tried to pick him up, which we know is an effective way to slow the ball down. But
well, he's lifted the ball. Unless he was, I don't think Pepper was in an offside position when he did that, was he? Seems like an unusual blast on the whistle. Either way, it's provided Finn Smith with the chance to square things up.
Another young man, only 21 years old, trained with England, 23 in the Six Nations. He's an exciting prospect as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and just felt a bit robbed there because Northampton looked like they got really good numbers, they got really good shape around the corner from that set play, and unfortunately the penalty at the breakdown just took that all away from us.
Well, 6 points apiece, 1 minute to play. And I think we should probably all get our hands together in prayer at this point and hope that the rain now disappears for the second 40. This has been a pretty tough old watch as the Falcons try to produce something at the tail end of this half. Waller. Seabrook, in fact, it is, who's driven that on.
Tell you what, Seabrook will not be happy that you've just mistaken him for Waller.
Use it.
It was the thighs I was looking at.
Stop! Get out!
Similarly sized. Abati just timed his jump a little wrong there, but it did go back. And unfortunately, Sam Stewart was there to assist.
Yeah, they've got away with a few of those on that side. He's made a mistake, and you think that Northampton should be pouncing on those balls, then they've made the mistake, but they don't seem to clean it up too much.
Radwan to cross. Clock in the red. Falcons want to keep playing, seemingly. And Northampton piling off their feet, surely is a penalty. What a mess that breakdown is. Probably the best thing to do is hack it off the pitch and bring that to a close. Penalties from Connon, 2 of them for Newcastle and 2 from Finn Smith. A little bit of afters breaking out. A half that was hard to love, it must be said. Newcastle 6, Northampton 6. Let's hope for something better after the break. Well, we have to be hopeful that we'll see something in this second 40 that we didn't see in the first. I think what we can say is the rain has eased just a little, certainly from its most unpleasant earlier on, and it might just take one error or one moment of brilliance here to make the difference and give one of these sides their first win of the Gallagher Premiership campaign.
Out we come, out we come. Backwards.
Back it goes from Connon. Finn Smith is straight away there to make sure that no ground can be gained. This is Van der Walt, who's been one of the more prominent Newcastle carriers today.
Yeah, he's always putting his hand up, to be fair. He's there when needed.
Use it.
The 9 carries for the big man.
Get your hand off.
Sam Stewart testing out that backfield again. And Furbank equal to it. Langdon. Very effective in those close exchanges. Low centre of gravity. Good punch through the gain line. This is Chunya Munga attempting something similar. Finn Smith lying deep. Once more to the boot. And Dingwall keeping an eye on things here, but deciding to wait his turn and then smashing Elliot Obatoyinbo as soon as he landed. Good timing, good decision making, and Northampton profiting as a consequence.
Yeah, Dingwall's done well there. He's been solid in defence, hasn't he? And even there on the chase, they know exactly what they're doing. He's a great shot and just gets that kill, drags him into touch, gets the turnover.
Angus Scott-Young taking the ball in from the line out, and this is looking like a slightly more promising drive from Northampton. Langdon has it. Smith Graham in the midfield. Tricky ball for James to take in. He's done really well and made it inside the 22. Langdon plays 9. Graham again. Options left and right. Smith challenging the gain line and just keeping the Falcons' defence honest. And that little attempted grubber has been blocked. Newcastle drop on it, and the moment is gone for Northampton for the time being. Conan does the necessary. Hendy lurking in the deep. Long striding back 3 man brought down effectively by Guy Pepper. Tricky one for Smith to deal with, and
Got one advantage
Furbank
for knock on.
doing his level best to ensure that Saints possession, but it isn't. And Newcastle will have the scrum on the 10-metre line.
You just feel like someone's got to take a risk at some point. I mean, Northampton had that. Sorry, just have a quick look at this. Just a bit of poor handling there. Not quite accurate. You have to be accurate when the weather's like this. But Northampton had that set piece down here just outside the 22, and you just look, all of Newcastle's players, pretty much 14 men inside the inside post. So at some point, Emily, you just want someone to take a bit of a gamble and have a bit of a crack, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you felt like Northampton was starting to build something as that little kick was pushed through from Tom James. You just felt like they were just getting into their stride, just starting to build that attacking shape, getting their runners on the ball.
Bind. Set. 2, 3, 4. Use it away.
Check from the base. Stewart, a lot of space in the backfield behind Seabrook. Nice pick up from Furbank.
Hold it.
Very tidy from the fullback. Conan takes it quickly. Batayinbo gets down on one knee sensibly.
One, get out of the way.
And then tries to straighten, but
Tackle.
runs into Trevor Davison amongst others. Jennings.
On now. Oh, steady. Holding, holding.
Furbank. To Conan. And once again, this kick battle, just looking for the error.
Holding.
It's gone directly up from Hendy. He's knocked it on, I think, in the process of trying to regather that. So Newcastle the winners from that little passage. Not especially pretty, but if you consider it from their perspective, that's probably a 30-metre net gain.
Yep. Time off.
Here come Newcastle, putting width on the ball, and Batayinbo is stopped by Furbank. Great tackle, great timing,
Come back.
and they have the penalty anyway from the scrum collapsing. But nice to see the ambition.
Yeah, we all got excited there, and then Furbank ruins it.
Yep.
Come on, we nearly got a few phases of play done. And he comes up with great defence by him. He spotted that, and that's what you need. Come up and shut it off.
Let's go. Here.
But we need to speed this little bit up. They've made the decision for posts. Is it windy down there? I can't sense it. I'm trying to look at the flag just over here in the bottom corner. It doesn't seem to be moving, but they've had a lot of drop balls on those high kicks.
Yeah, for the most part, the flag hanging limp as we see this move that was snuffed out by Furbank, who just got up really quickly on his opposite man. The wind, not really the problem.
Yeah, over to him, but I think just holds a little bit more depth there, and he manages to get it through the hands, and you're away for 5 points finally. But like we said, well read by Furbank. He's come up and shut that off.
So Brett Conan, one of the many players who've come through the academy here, charged with putting the Falcons back in front, taking every last second. He's leaving this late. But the preparation this time does not yield results. 6 points all it remains. 47 minutes gone. 2 from 3 now from the tee for Brett Conan.
One set, please. Use it away.
Up pops Jamie Blamire, but Falcons have the ball and they're moving onto it nicely. Batayinbo threads it wide, and here's Ewan Stevens, but it was forwards.
In line with it. Forward pass.
So just when we think it might be about a breakout.
15, sub, please.
The whistle is blown.
Sub, please, 15.
Yeah, you can see the intention, can't you? Trying to get flat to the line, trying to put it out in front of players. The Northampton defence is a little bit short, so they're having to drift, they're having to ride to the touchline. Just a little over-ambitious, that ball out in front of you and Stevens.
Just a little unfortunate. You kind of feel like Stevens had to delay his run for a bit, make that a bit easier for Obata Yinbo.
Yeah, I think he sort of got checked by the pass, didn't he? And to ease off a little bit, which then sent Stevens past him, and that's him for the evening. He's off and up into the stands now.
Bind. Set.
There's nothing more frustrating, is there, when you've just made a mistake and then you get taken off straight after it.
Finn Smith. That's proper width. Seabrook, who's been in great form since joining from Gloucester. A couple of tries last week against Bristol. Really strong showing. He scored 6 in 6 for the Saints to this point.
Touched, play.
And he's off in search of another one here as Stewart goes back. Obata Yinbo's been replaced. Matthias Orlando's gone into the centres for Newcastle, and Tom Penny has moved to fullback.
Use it. Use it now, please. 9, let's go.
Hendy. Held up in the tackle. He's trying to get his knees down.
Release now, 6 and out.
And eventually manages it. Graham for Northampton. Sam Graham. Across the face of the defence, and Pearson. Lovely offload. Langdon. Very, very close. He's there. Brilliant bit of work from Pearson. Northampton have their score. We suggested it might be one moment of brilliance. It came from Tom Pearson. And Curtis Langdon is celebrating just as he should. Northampton striking in the gloom.
Try is good.
We needed something to break the game up, and what a brilliant intervention that was from Tom Pearson. The guys spoke about it at half-time in terms of being flat at the line, and actually, can you just take a little bit off? He doesn't mind. He's going straight in between two defenders, so no one quite knows who they're picking up. Brilliant backdoor offload to Curtis Langdon, who goes over, but brilliant play. Tom Pearson has been one of the best signings Northampton have made in a long, long time.
Yeah, and Langdon's not bad either, is he? Obviously, when Worcester went down off to Montpellier and had 13 appearances there last season, not a bad bit of experience to get. And then over here.
Well, two quality players, and Tom Pearson with that deft little offload, providing for that all-important score. Falcons looking to respond to the Langdon score. Stewart is poised. Out it comes. Little surge from Jennings, clung onto by Finn Smith.
Ball's there.
Cross. Carries hard.
Be onside.
Back to that left-hand side again. Van der Waals. Northampton digging in defensively here. This is just the sort of moment they need to come through. Proper test of this Lee Radford drilled defence. Fraser Dingwall, I think he's probably done his level best to get out of there, but he's had absolutely nowhere to go. So the penalty's been given up. And in the meantime, Callum Chick.
Yeah, you have.
Connon, little dab over the top. Claimed in the in-goal area by Tom James, and back for that penalty.
Line.
Hard to really criticise Fraser Dingwall in that circumstance. A pile of bodies all around him, and a vice-like grip, seemingly.
Yeah, it's a tough one for him. And once big Murray McCallum gets you stuck in there, there's no way out. They know what they're doing there, Newcastle. They've trapped him in, but there's nothing the ref can do there. He's in, and there you have it. Murray McCallum just pinning him in, knowing exactly what he's doing there.
Sorry.
They're giving him a little
Yeah,
little word under there whilst he's down.
Yeah, both the props just making his acquaintance. And what should be a relatively straightforward 3 points here for Conan.
It's almost like that Northampton try has sparked Newcastle into wanting to react, and they've got up there and you just, sometimes you just want them to keep the ball in hand and keep playing, but that little kick by Conan, a little bit of a waste. I know it's a shot to nothing, but sometimes you want to see them just carry on playing a little bit more. I don't think anything was ever coming from that.
3 more added, so it is a 4-point deficit now for the home side. Very much still in the balance as we head into the final quarter. James floats it across for Dingwall, who makes it to the 22. Quick ball to work with as well. Hutchinson lays it up.
Penalty advantage.
With an advantage to work with. And the ball loose.
You've got to be on your feet. You're not maintaining your weight. They slowed the ball down enough.
So the offer of points, a little bit of extra urgency in and around the ruck from Northampton, just sensing those moments, which of course is all important, isn't it? And with a relatively young group as Northampton have here at the moment, recognising those moments is as important as executing within them, Ryan.
Yeah, certainly. And you look at the stats here. I mean, they've only been down
here
10% territory
in
in the Newcastle Falcons 22, but they're coming away with more points than Newcastle are the other end. So that's all that counts at the end of the day. And a tight game like this, when the weather's like this, that's all that matters. So they're converting when they get down there. They're just not getting down there very much.
So the Saints edging towards the finish line, but still plenty to do.
Newcastle 4 and 5, please.
3 more from Finn Smith. Langdon to Coles. And Hutchinson off, very nearly finding a way through. Quite heavy traffic in that midfield. Nice again from Langdon. Finn Smith dabs it forwards. Off goes Seabrook. And back goes Penny. Has to watch this carefully and has to drop on. Thought for a moment he might be able to let that run, but the decision had to be made. Taken in by the skipper, Callum Chick. Now the drive, oh, it's loose. O'Sullivan drops on it. So too Graham, he's going to have to move out of the way.
No, it's gone back. Advantage penalty.
Lockwood drives on, the penalty given up.
Penalty advantage.
At the very least, they'll get another shot at it from here, but they'd love to get the job done here and now. Hawkins feeds it out. O'Sullivan comes piling in and puts a little bit of width on it. Good run from Jennings. He's banged over in the midfield. Finn Smith to the fore defensively. Once again, the Saints defence being asked some very awkward questions. That was so close from Orlando. Surely the Falcons will make it from here. They're 1 metre out.
New advantage.
Another big surge, another advantage.
15 playing hands in the ruck.
Pepper feeds it on. Still looking to change that point of attack and pop it round the fringe. One more reach would do it.
Use it!
O'Sullivan decides to head on in to shield the ball from those marauding Northampton defenders. A little bit of miscommunication, flat across the defence from Conan. Where's this heading? The touchline by the look of things. And they'll go all the way back for the penalty. But not before a short scuffle.
Yeah.
You've got to think, those Newcastle players, they've got to have it in their mind. They need those 2 points as well. It's getting close now, so they have to start picking and going to the right-hand side to get nearer the post. They've got to keep in mind that they need the full 7.
Offside, breakdown. 8:15. Yeah, time's off.
Yeah. The yellow has been shown, I think, to George Hendy, who's been sent to the bin for the remainder of this match. and they're under a huge amount of pressure. They haven't kept a side out. And by that I mean they haven't managed to prevent a try being scored against them in 3 years, Northampton. Brian Byrne for the Falcons.
Newcastle rival.
Picked up, tipped on. Lockwood on the carry. Round the edge and over. It's a captain's score, is it? Callum Chick
Penalty advantage.
was so close. I think a number of his teammates thought the deed was done. Another penalty advantage. Saints are doing everything in their powers to hold out here. Whit wider. Conan goes in. And out on that flank is Ewan Stevens. A dramatic score from the winger. Less than 5 minutes to play. And a conversion to tie things up here at Kingston Park.
I know he needs to get into that corner, but you just wish he maybe stepped in and tried to help the kicker out a little bit, because they need these 2 points. It'd be ironic that two teams without a win, and we have a draw here tonight. It's a difficult kick coming in, but it finally breaks, doesn't it? I mean, there's going to be space somewhere. Great defence by Northampton to keep him out, but I just think he could do a bit more there to help him out.
Picking on that wing where you've just, Northampton have just lost Hendy as well, so they know there's going to be extra space.
Yeah, good identification from Brett Conan. And Stevens, who's been prolific, certainly in the Premiership Cup this season, 4 in 3 games in the Cup competition, allowing for this very important kick from Conan. It's going to sail wide. Or at least not quite with enough juice behind it. Saints have a 2-point lead. Ewan Stevens has given them hope after a mountain of pressure. And we've got a very interesting last 3 minutes coming up. Quite obviously have to cling on to the ball under every circumstance. Freddie Lockwood is launched at the front of the line out. And Jennings, nice loop play from Conan. This is as slick as they've looked all game. Newcastle, lovely bit of work in the midfield. Can they retain the ball? Driven on by Brantingham and held up for a short time. Oh, the ball squirts out. Where's that going to wind up? It's with Radwan. He's found a way past Pearson. Can he produce the magic all over again? Right the way round he goes. And here's Guy Pepper. Big tackle made by Tom James on that flank. But they made it to the 22. Clock in the red. O'Sullivan. Falcons looking as invigorated now as they have for the last hour and 20 minutes. Jennings, a good drive. Big tackles raining in, another shot coming in from Sam Graham. O'Sullivan recovers himself. Have Newcastle still got it in them? Drop goal would do it, of course. Or a penalty. Saints have to be squeaky clean here.
Release.
It's very much within range. Still they probe that short side. Conan is caught and Moon is looking to rip the ball away. Here's Stevens. Turns quickly. In over the ball is Tom James. That's the crucial turnover. That's the win for Northampton. The scrum half burying himself over the ball. And in the eyes of Hamish Smales, very much making a clear attempt to lift it. Critical moments for Northampton. And that's it. A first win of the campaign, an ugly win, but a crucial one for Phil Dowson and co. After a difficult couple of weeks, they've come to one of the most difficult places in the league, in filthy conditions, and they've got it done by a slender margin, but done nevertheless. A losing bonus taken away by the Falcons. It's finished here. Newcastle 14, Northampton 16.